Hello, and welcome back to MoJo, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the one and only Powerpuff Girls / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. I'm Raven. I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Alison. I use she, her pronouns.
Yeah, and so this week is, I believe, our 70th episode of the pod. And we're going to be talking about the JoJo's Stardust Crusaders episodes, Hol Horse and Mondatta Part 2, and The Guardian of Hell, Petshop Part 1.
Dun, dun, dun!
Yeah. So before we get into discussing those episodes, just a reminder to, if you haven't already, to subscribe / follow to the podcast. It might be called something different depending on where you're listening. And if you haven't already, we could use some more comments and reviews. It'd be really helpful both in giving us some feedback and helping us get out there to more folks and getting us some more listeners.
And if you would like to hear more of us, we have a second podcast called What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are watching and discussing What We Do in the Shadows, which is a sitcom about vampires that live on Staten Island.
Yeah, I think we left off on season 4 of that, and you might enjoy that if you want to hear about some vampires who are significantly less evil than Dio.
They get up to a lot of silly stuff.
Yes. If you want to see vampires just being absolute goofuses and just getting up to silly stuff, that might be the show for you. Don't like your vampires to be constantly dark and brooding.
If you want to see some vampires that don't have a star tattoo. Okay.
It's a birthmark. No, it's fine.
I guess. It's too perfectly shaped.
Yeah, it should be have been a little lumpier or something for a birthmark. It's just like perfectly like back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so any news? We had Powerpuff Girls news, right?
Oh, yeah, yes. It looks like we are going to be getting Powerpuff Girls Fugglers. It looks like specifically we will, of course, be getting the 3 girls, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, and also MoJo JoJo himself. So those should be fun. I enjoyed the Fugglers anyhow. I know some people on my page were like, no, when they saw them. So
yeah, they're like, let the nightmares ensue or something. Or they were upset there wasn't a him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like they did all the other bad guys and then just skipped him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how him's kind of lanky and how that would have translated into.
They are kind of stubby.
A fuggler, so.
Yeah. I have like 2 fugglers. I think they both have button eyes. I have like one of the ones that has like underwear and it's purple. I call that one Lumpkin. And the other one is like black and it has like 3 button eyes. And that one I call Little Freak. They might have actual canonical names. I don't know. That's just what I call them.
Can't remember the one I have if it had a name or not. Probably still have the box somewhere.
Yeah, I have my boxes.
You can name them whatever you want.
Yeah.
When they're like that anyway, but if it's Bubbles, it's still Bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had plenty of like licensed crossovers over the years. I did like a DC one it was mostly Batman characters and also Superman. And then they've had like Lord of the Rings, they've had SpongeBob, stuff like that.
I thought they were cute.
Yeah.
I like the Fugglers. I like the weird, like almost human teeth.
Yeah.
And the button aspect, so.
Yeah. I like them. They're weird little guys. I probably at least want the Buttercup and MoJo ones. I think MoJo was my favorite out of the set. And I need Buttercup because she's my favorite overall. I'm gonna start talking about Hol Horse and Mondatta Part 2. Hol Horse, still with his fingers up Polnareff's nose, panics as the rest of the Joestar crew approach his position. Hol Horse doesn't know how he'll get out of this one when Polnareff jerks away and draws out his stand. Hol Horse puts a gun in his face, and when we next cut back to them, Polnareff is awkwardly standing by himself, in quotes, in the alley, or so it appears to Avdol and the others. Hol Horse is really found in an obscured corner to stand in behind Polnareff, keeping his gun stand, the Emperor pointed at the back of Polnareff's head. Hol Horse is so horrified of Avdol he almost cries. He argues in his mind with Mondatta, saying he should have just taken out Polnareff from afar, which maybe he should have, but I understand he went against the thing. Hol Horse tells Polnareff through gritted teeth to tell the others he wasn't being trailed after all, but that he was just finding a place to piss in the street. Joseph says his lack of shame amazes him. To be fair, that is not completely off-brand for Polnareff. Especially since he always has bathroom-related trauma.
I'm just, like, not to be, like, throwing men as a group under the bus, but I feel like, especially, like, being in a foreign place and maybe not knowing, being able to read, like, where bathrooms would be and stuff, I feel like they would just maybe do that a bit.
Yeah, I feel like
if you found a
dudes I know would do that.
Private corner and pee if you couldn't find a bathroom. Like, I don't know. But these guys are kind of weird about the toilets. Like, oh, I couldn't. I think even Gramps was like at that one toilet, he couldn't use it because it was just a hole in the ground or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, go on.
So Polnareff tries to signal to the others that someone's behind him with his tongue, and he keeps playing it like this.
It was just, like, weirdly long.
Yeah, I was like, is he Venom? Is he Gene Simmons? What's happening? They're all weirded out, but Avdol eventually realizes he's trying to tell them that there's something behind him. Hol Horse is pissed at Polnareff's subterfuge and tries to pull the trigger when Polnareff sneezes obnoxiously, blowing Hol Horse's cover. Polnareff, of course, sneezed because Hol Horse had his fingers up his nose earlier. With this distraction, Polnareff calls out Silver Chariot and knocks Hol Horse into this, like, clay pot of oil. Polnareff tells them that Hol Horse was the one following them. Hol Horse silently curses Mondatta when a jeep driven by the guy Hol Horse shot earlier drives by. The guy is naturally pissed at Hol Horse for taking his ear off and tries to run him down, but the vehicle slips in the oil and crashes into the Joestar group. Hol Horse is like, holy shit, sticking my fingers up Polnareff's nose did work. Mondatta was like, yes, it was fate. But wait, we can't finish off the Joestar crew yet, because the next prediction hasn't appeared yet, and Hol Horse agrees, now seeing the value in Mondatta's stand. Thoth warns Hol Horse, Thoth of course being Mondatta's stand, warns Hol Horse not to rush in, but to hide, because Jotaro wasn't as badly injured as the others, and gets back up. Hol Horse is like, hell yeah, I believe in you now. I'll even eat shit if your stand says to. As they wait, the stand says Hol Horse's last attack involves paying off plumbers to open up some pipes so Hol Horse can fire all his bullets into a pipe, shooting Jotaro in the head. So I think it specifically refers to it as like his final attack in a way where that could be read as his final attack ever or his final attack against the group.
Yeah.
Mondatta is extremely stoked and determined, but Hol Horse is cautious, reminding Mondatta of what happened to Zenyatta. Mondatta reminds him that because neither of them can shapeshift, they won't be able to transform into Jotaro. Hol Horse is like, yeah, fair enough, but then he panics because they're supposed to have the pipes open and fired into by noon, but they only have 2 minutes left. Mondatta crawling around inside of a crate. He's kind of been cowering in this crate this whole time. He tells Hol Horse not to panic, but he's frantic, and when he gets to the plumbers, he threatens them with his stand instead of bribing them with money. Mondatta reminds him that they're not stand users, so they can't possibly see his gun stand, so he still needs to pay them off. He says sorry, and the plumbers insist on all his cash after he threatened them. So I'm like, does that mean Hol Horse is secretly Canadian? Because he said sorry. I'm like, he's just like whatever a weeb is for Western culture. Like, he's just like a weeb for cowboy stuff. Hol Horse realizes that he left his wallet in the hotel and dances around like he has to pee, demanding Mondatta give him back his emergency money. Mondatta trips and drops coins everywhere, and the plumbers want to grab it all first before they open the pipes or anything. Hol Horse is just like, open it up already. And then this little old lady shows up with tea for the workers. Hol Horse picks up this giant piece of stone and threatens to crack all their heads if they don't move. They move out of fear, and Hol Horse fires bullet after bullet down the pipe. Meanwhile, the Joestar group wake up and assess their injuries. Everyone is a little banged up, but Polnareff is trapped in rubble. Jotaro goes to free him when Polnareff sneezes in his face. The bullet should race down and hit Jotaro, but he flinches out of the way, and the bullets fly past him and hit a building instead. Hol Horse freaks out on Mondatta and shakes him roughly, and Mondatta's like, I don't get it. My predictions always come true. Suddenly they hear a radio which announces it's almost time for the 12 o'clock news. Hol Horse realizes his watch was too fast, too fast in this instance, rather. And as he freaks out trying to figure out where he might have went wrong, the bullets come back around and hit Hol Horse in the face through Mondatta's stand. The Joestar group books it out of there before the cops show up. An ambulance picks up Hol Horse, who is in critical condition from his wounds, but still very much alive. Mondatta decides this must have been Hol Horse's fate after all, and that the Joestar group can only be defeated by Dio. He says he wants to use his stand to help people from now on, and he's done cowering under a crate, and then he launches the crate into the air, only for it to land and hit a dog. That dog is Iggy. Mondatta apologizes profusely, but Iggy has no mercy and sends poor Mondatta to the hospital too, where his stand reports he will come out of it even meeker than ever. The Joestar group wonder where Iggy is, and Afdal tells them he knew Iggy wouldn't be helpful when they really need him. Yeah, I think that's the end of the episode.
And it had the ending song, with Mondatta and Hol Horse in comic form and singing and stuff.
I still think Hol Horse looks like a snail in that art style.
I don't think Mondatta looks like Mondatta at all. I'm like,
no,
it's odd.
I don't think it looks like Zenyatta either, but the Hol Horse one, I look at that and I'm like, it's Hol Horse. Yeah. And same for the Joestar group. I can tell it's Jotaro and everyone.
I like these episodes. I like the comedy element in the Hol Horse and Mondatta ones, or just the ones that involve Mondatta. I mean, I know we're supposed to be rooting for the Joestars and everything. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be, but I think he should have went after them while they were down after the car accident.
Yes.
Even if he was only able to take out one of them.
Yeah.
Because they ended up not taking out any of them. So and the bullet part would have likely only taken out Jotaro. That's all it showed.
Yeah.
So
they're supposed to just take everyone else out while they're unconscious or something. But they were all up at that point, and I don't know.
I mean, I know he did multiple bullets, and maybe they would have. He can kind of control the bullets, but I don't think from where he was at that he could even see them. So I don't know if he couldn't see if he could have directed them where to go. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how his stand works. I'm just it's gun.
And I think, you said, you reacted while we were watching, that it wasn't wonderful for Iggy to attack Mondatta, because it's
he wanted to turn things around, and also he's just 10 and it was an accident that he hit him with the crate.
He's really not succeeded in hurting them much at all.
No.
And so I don't Hol Horse is...
Poor Hol Horse can get bent, but Mondatta's a kid.
Yeah. I don't think that... I know Mondatta is it's fate and all this stuff, but I think the pictures in the story that his stand produces, I guess maybe they're kind of ambiguous. It's just
they're intentionally vague.
It's looking at a picture says 1,000 words. Different people could look at it and see different things.
Yeah.
And I know it does have a saying with it or whatever, sentences with it. But even that, when you think about, you send a text message and one person might think you were aggressive there and you're thinking, well, I thought I was pretty clear or whatever. So it's
yeah. Are you you send an exclamation point to be positive and they think you're being a dick? You're shouting at them?
Yeah. So because the finger up the nose, it
He boogered things up.
It helped in one instance, but then in the other instance, the two sneezes, one was helpful to them, but then the other one like saved Jotaro's life. So it's kind of like sometimes it doesn't show all parties either. So it's like, what is happening to everyone else while this thing is happening? So I can understand Hol Horse being skeptical, like he was trying to flip back in the book and he wanted to see more details, and he probably was right for that. They didn't really have a lot of time there, but
I feel like maybe the stand is only like useful specifically for Mondatta himself, because he will try to stick to that to the letter, but every time he works with someone else, even his brother, they like do something else and make it like kind of like go haywire.
Yeah, that could be true, that maybe it's really only useful to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss The Guardian of Hell Petshop Part 1. Okay, so we start off with Polnareff. He's kind of like wrapped in a blanket. He's upset he hasn't been able to shower and sits on some steps to rest, but a beggar is mad he is sitting on his turf. Like, he looks like a beggar because he's got that blanket wrapped around him. And he hasn't showered, I guess. Abdul says they have a beggars association to keep things... I kind of didn't get this part real good. To keep things organized and keep the peace, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, these certain people are assigned to beg. Abdul shows the picture of the building they are looking for to the beggar. He rips off his begging attire and is wearing a fancy suit and says he'll be back in 3 hours with the location of the building and drives away. So that was like a surprise. And I wrote, where is Iggy? Iggy is out exploring alone when he encounters two big angry dogs. He seems to do something telepathically to them to scare them away. I wasn't sure that was like a new power, or like, did I miss that?
It's like he gave them like this nasty look, and then it kind of almost had like an aura around him, like dark aura. Like, I don't know if it was like from his stand or if he just has like that much of a dog resting bitch face that they're like, ah.
I mean, he was little, so I don't know. Maybe they thought he was sick or something. I don't know. They see a shadow under a fence and investigate, and their heads are cut off and their bodies pulled under the fence. So at the time, I didn't... Like, it did kind of almost look like a crystal or an icicle had went through their heads. And we do find out it's ice later. A big falcon or hawk, bird of prey... Again, we weren't sure at this point what it was. Now sits on the fence with a scarf/cape and a helmet. The bird zooms in on the fancy beggar who has apparently found the building in 2 hours. So, like, I don't know, it almost seemed like it was a robot, like the way it could zoom its eyes. Like, I know, like, these types of birds of prey, they're able to, like, see far away, but he seemed almost like a robot to me.
Yeah. I mean, the eye thing is probably just part of his stand, I'm sure, like, combined with his regular, like, falcon senses.
Yeah. Okay, but a huge crystal falls from the sky and kills the beggar. The bird shreds the picture of the building. Iggy is worried he is next. So it wasn't... It was like a big piece of ice. It wasn't a crystal. Falcon was important to the Egyptians. This falcon is called Petshop, and its stand is Horus, right?
Yes, it's Horus.
Okay, so it's like named after the Pet Shop Boys. Iggy realizes he's found Dio's mansion, and the falcon is guarding it, but Iggy could care less about Dio, so he pretends to be a dumb dog. He doesn't want to have to, like, take on this falcon.
Yeah.
A car comes along, and the bird flies underneath and flies back into the Dio compound area. A kid comes looking for his dead dogs, Butch and Tiny, and finds blood and a dog collar at the gate. He tries crawling under and sees the falcon eating one of his dog's eyes. Iggy decides to mind his own business. The boy freaks out as the falcon dives towards him with icicles coming out of its talons. Iggy jumps and hits the falcon before it can hurt the boy. Iggy smacks into the boy and barks until he goes back under the gate. Iggy brings out his stand. The bird seems to be making the air colder, and tendrils of ice reach for Iggy. Iggy and his stand's feet are frozen. The bird shoots icicles at Iggy, but his stand shields him and then disintegrates as sand under the gate with Iggy. So it's like, it's been a while since we've seen Iggy stand, so it does kind of has like feathers on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But it does still use, it's like made of sand, can take different shapes and stuff. The falcon goes to the sky to search for Iggy. The Joestar group waits for the beggar to return. They've been searching for the building for 3 days. Iggy's paws have been wounded. The falcon comes from around a corner and starts chasing Iggy while shooting ice at him like a fighter plane. Iggy puts on the brakes to avoid a truck, and his stand shields him once again from a barrage from the falcon.
I think I wrote down, I know we're slightly past this, but when Iggy did the thing where he went under the gate and basically turned into sand, I was like, this is like that one part in The Mummy, like, where, like, the mummy turns into sand and, like, goes through is he going through a keyhole or he's going through a door? Something with a door.
Okay. I don't totally remember that, but I could see that.
Yeah.
Or like, what, Sandman and Spider-Man or something?
Yeah, Sandman would probably do something like that too.
Iggy somehow makes it into the sewer, and the falcon follows. So it's like every time Iggy thinks he's lost this falcon, it finds him. It appears Iggy was dismembered, but it was only his stand playing decoy. The fool slashes at the falcon, causing it to crash and bleed. Iggy tells the bird he doesn't care about Dio and wants to call it even. The bird tastes its own blood and then brings forth more ice, and a metallic bird thing with 6 arms burst out.
Yeah. I said it looked like a wingless, multi-limbed pterodactyl. At least, like, when it first showed up, it kind of, the head looks like a pterodactyl. It looked a little more, like, regular bird-like after that first shot.
Yeah, maybe it was, like, a little skeletal or, like, emaciated bird or something.
Yeah, it was really skinny, too.
The bird stops its bleeding with ice and keeps sending ice Iggy's way. Iggy can barely outrun it. Iggy's paw gets stuck in the ice, and then the bird bombs him with ice. And that was basically the end. So I don't know. I'm like, I kind of figured Iggy would be killed at some point, and I don't know if he is dead here. But I don't necessarily love it. Because Iggy wasn't, like he said before, doesn't care about Dio, and he was kind of brought in, like, against his will.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't think it's fair. And I'm just wondering, like, would Dio even want the bird be wasting time chasing Iggy?
I don't
know.
Like,
he's not guarding the...
Does Dio even know Iggy exists?
He's not guarding the compound. He's
Yeah.
I mean, he does find out Iggy does have a stand, but it's like...
Yeah.
So...
Like, Dio was like, Petshop, look for this little Boston Terrier. He might be a stand user.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love always, like... I mean, I'm glad the little boy got away, but I don't think we needed to see, like, his dogs, like, murdered in such a way.
Yeah. It's pretty graphic.
The eyeball and...
Yeah. That's one of my biggest beefs with things that, like, repeatedly happen in the show. It's like, well, we gotta show that this guy is evil, so let's just have him kill some dogs. I'm like, no. The only time we didn't see a bad guy kill a dog was, like, when Cars, like basically, like, killed the guy to stop him from running over it. So I'm like, Cars is the least evil JoJo film. Well, probably not, but...
And again, even there, with the bird killing the dogs, like, it's kind of like a waste of its time, because Dio shouldn't really even care about ordinary dogs.
Yeah, no.
And the dogs wouldn't have tried to go under there if they hadn't seen that enticing shadow. It was like... Yeah. It looked like it was like a bird or something, like, that they would be interested in. So
yeah, they're like, this looks yummy.
So, I mean, I'm assuming that the beggar guy was killed.
Yeah, I think we see his arm at one point.
Yeah, like it had been severed.
Yeah.
But Iggy does know the location of the mansion or whatever. So I don't know. They've been having so much trouble finding it. Like, we kind of need Iggy to live.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Iggy fan, but like he's just a dog, so I do feel bad he's going through this shit for them.
I'm just wondering with this building, why can't it be seen? So there must be something happening with it.
There might be. I don't remember if there's like any like reasoning behind it or
Like, why? Or like maybe that the picture that Gramps took was like old somehow, and now there's a bunch of stuff around it that shields it or whatever from view. I'm just not understanding like why no one knows where it is.
yeah.
I understand it's like a crowded area, but it just seems odd.
Yeah.
How many more episodes are left of this season?
Oh, I have to count. There's,
Well, this is 38, so how many episodes are there?
I want to say there's like 48, but I'm not 100%. Let me look at Blue real quick. There's like 48 or 50, thereabouts. Yeah, 48. So I guess we have like 10 episodes left?
And like, will we see Mondatta and Whole Horse again? I'm thinking Whole Horse getting shot in the face or whatever. That don't seem good.
No, but he did allegedly survive.
The other one
Yeah.
with the old lady. What was it? Inyaba?
Yeah.
Oh, you probably need to go over. Do you need to go over Horace and the Pet Shop Boys? Maybe. I'm like, what songs? I knew of the Pet Shop Boys, but could I name a song? No.
Let's see. I feel like I know maybe one or two, but I can't. See, they seem like they should be up my alley. Those I feel like they do some goth shit. It does say they do synth pop, and I do really like synth pop. But they did West End Girls. That's probably the one I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not recognizing some of these other ones. I know West End Girls. Other ones I keep meaning to check out, but I still haven't got to it. British, they do synth pop.
Okay, well, it may just be I'm really only aware of that one, but
Yeah.
okay.
So Horus is, of course, an Egyptian god. He's usually depicted as like a falcon-headed deity. He's the god of many things, including kingship, healing, protection, the sun, and the sky. There are so many Egyptian sun gods. He's got like Ra and like all his aspects too. Yeah, he's the son of Isis and Osiris. But sometimes he's also their sibling. It's weird.
So, I mean, other than it being the bird-headed, I'm not sure that makes sense with it, like, shooting ice, but...
Yeah, it's just kind of just going into... He's a falcon, so he has good aim.
Yeah, like I said, he kind of looked like a fighter pilot. Like, he was almost, like, using the ice, like, bullets or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, dropping a bomb with the bigger piece of ice. That makes sense.
Yeah. It didn't look like the kid had a name or the Baker guy. His name just says Wealthy Baker on the thing. I called him the Classy Baker.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like Butch and Tiny, their names were references to anything. I guess in Japanese, their names were instead Chibi and Butchie, which Chibi is kind of just like small and cute. That's basically what it means. So I guess that's why they went to Tiny. But I feel like a lot of people, if they watch anime, they probably know what Chibi means, so they could have just left it.
Yeah.
Unless they're worried people are going to Google JoJo Chibi and not find the dog. Like,
yeah, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in Cairo or whatever, like...
Yeah.
Like, they didn't necessarily have to be English type names for them.
Yeah. Alright, so those were our episodes this week. Next episode, we will be discussing The Guardian of Hell Pet Shop Part 2 and Darby the Player Part 1.
Darby.
Well, we'll see.
The gambler guy? He's coming back?
No, it's his little brother.
Oh, is he also a gambler?
Kinda.
Okay. Is he gonna be like Gambit? He's gonna...
God, I wish there was a stand that had Gambit powers.
Okay.
Blow up these cards. Are we sure Gambit's not a stand user? That just does seem like something a stand could do. It's very specific, like, I have these playing cards and they blow up. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about next time. We're getting pretty close to the end of part 3 here. So once we finish that up, we will be going on to season 4 of the Powerpuff Girls. I believe that's only like 13 episodes because they're like all half-hour episodes, and we might talk about the movie after because that kind of chronologically came out around season 4. So look forward to more JoJo, more Powerpuff Girls. If you want to keep listening to us, give us a follow or a subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment or review. We might even read it on the show.
Push all those buttons for us, and don't forget to check out What We Pod in the Shadows.
Yeah. So until next time, I'll be the roundabout. Goodbye.
Goodbye.